Hey, amazing people. Let's get started. Find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you today. I'm going to suggest that you sit back in your chair and allow your body weight to be supported by this structure, whatever that might be. And namaste. Bring the backs of your hands to rest on your knees, palms facing up, is a sign of surrender. Start to breathe in and out through the nose with a heightened sense of awareness of the breath. And take your time. Allow each half of each cycle of breath to be fully realized. And allow this time that you've carved out of your day for yourself to be an opportunity to check in, to reassess, and then ultimately to move forward in alignment with whatever you've established as being your mission statement or your plans for the day, but I'll get to that in a moment. I'll tell you a story, but again, continuing to focus on the breath. And again, using the chair, whatever it is that you're sitting in, to receive your weight. So maybe you can settle more weight into your sitting bones so the seat feels heavier in the seat of the chair. If you have shoes and socks off, maybe you'll take them off so that you'll feel a sturdier or deeper connection into Mother Earth, whatever your feet are in contact with. Use that to ground you more in the now. Maybe you can settle more weight into the back of your chair. And by settling more weight into those points of the body, you might feel that you're not using as much muscular support, which might translate into the breath entering and leaving the body with more ease. Scan for tension, start at the crown of your head, move your way to your eyebrows, go to the forehead, between the eyebrows, your cheeks, your lips, your tongue, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Soften across your collarbones. More ease in the chest. More ease in your abdomen. More ease in your hips. And maybe from your hips all the way down to the tips of your toes, you can find more ease so the legs feel a little heavier. And maybe from your shoulders all the way down to the tips of your fingers, you find more release so that the arms, in fact, feel heavier. So story time. I returned from Europe a week ago Tuesday after having had an amazing visit with my son. And much like on the outbound flight, the return home was riddled with delays. So much so that I once again missed my connecting flight. So here I am in Copenhagen trying to book, or not book, but be rescheduled on another flight. And I had two options, one of which would have been to fly over Reykjavik and then catch a connecting flight to Newark, which would have, without delays, gotten me in at about 7:15 p.m. Or just stay in the airport for about 6 hours and take a direct flight to New York, getting me in about 8:50 p.m. Neither scenario really worked for me because I had plans on going to the Janet Jackson concert. I love Janet. I'm a huge fan. I'm I'm firmly convinced that were we ever to meet, she'd propose to me. Right. So in my mind, I've created all of this and I am doing everything within my power to get there. But I took a deep breath as I started to get a little anxious after hearing what the two options were with regards to getting me back home. And as I exhaled, I reminded myself that I've done everything I can do today to get home in time to attend the concert. I left in time, my paperwork was in order, and the rest was out of my hands. There's a force that's greater than us. And as best you can, I encourage you to surrender to those waves of change so that you can remain as graceful as you navigate the twists and turns, so that you can stay present enough to learn the lessons that are there for you to learn in the midst of whatever storm, whatever trial you may find yourself in, so that you can count the blessings that are there for you to count, so that you can tap into the joy that is ever present. So as I started to breathe boldly again, I was reminded of the amazing new memories that I had created with my son. And then my priority became just getting home safe and sound. And I found myself to again be able to tap into the joy, to even smile. So again, I say to you, control the things you have control over and surrender to those that you have no control over. And try to be clear enough in the mind in your thoughts that you can discern between the two. Find your Anjali Mudra, bring the thumbs to press into the heart space and take a moment to set an intention for your practice today. You may choose to dedicate your efforts to someone in particular, to a group of people, or maybe you'll just send a little bit of extra love out into the universe. We'll breathe in together for one round of Om. Inhale. Um, I'll invite you now to make your way more towards the front edge of your seat, moving your sitting bones forward. But as best you can, still try to find this fine line, right? Surrendering, but now using maybe a little more muscular support to remain upright. Continue to check in with the breath. And with your hands now, palms resting on your knees or your thighs, just look over your right shoulder. And then look over your left shoulder. Look over your right shoulder and over your left shoulder. One more time to the right and again to the left. Bring your neck back to neutral. Let the chin settle towards the chest. And then look up at the ceiling. Again, chin into your chest. Look up at the ceiling. One more time, chin into your chest. And look up at the ceiling. And we'll keep looking up at the ceiling. Maybe pressing your palms into your thighs will allow you to lift the heart a little bit higher. So you feel your shoulder blades maybe squeezing towards each other a little bit more and then sliding more towards your hips. Your gaze might find the ceiling. You might even start to look for the wall behind you. And you'll eventually bring your spine back to neutral, sitting up nice and tall. Lift the shoulders up by the ears and let them drop down the back. Shoulder blades release. Again, lift the shoulders up by the ears. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. One more time, lift the shoulders up by the ears. And again, drop them down the back. Just let your right ear settle towards your right shoulder. Left ear towards the left shoulder. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Let's bring your right hand to rest on the left side of your face. And just allow the left arm to dangle out of that shoulder girdle. And imagine as your fingertips drip towards the floor that maybe there's some sort of a weight on that left wrist. So the left arm starts to get a little bit heavier. Maybe the tips of the fingers get closer to the floor as you continue to apply weight to the left side of your face. The right ear might get closer to your right shoulder. From here, I'm going to ask you to rotate your nose towards your right armpit. And then rotate your nose towards the ceiling. And then rotate your nose towards your armpit. And rotate the nose towards the ceiling. One more time, nose towards your armpit. And nose towards the ceiling. Again, bring your right ear back towards your right shoulder. Slide the right hand over to the right side of your face. Use your hand to use your neck. Bring your neck back to neutral. And then float the left arm high, the right arm high, and start to circle out the wrists, articulating through your fingers. Maybe add nodding your head, yes. And then circle the wrists in the other direction. And you'll eventually bring your chin back to neutral. Release your palms to your thighs again. And this time we'll let the left ear settle towards the left shoulder. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Left ear towards the left shoulder. And let's bring that left palm to rest on the right side of your face. In time, your left ear might get closer to your left shoulder. I'm going to say let that right arm dangle out of the socket. Let the right fingertips extend towards the floor. And maybe you can hug that right shoulder blade a little bit more towards your right hip so that the right fingertips again get closer to the floor. You might feel Some more sensations on the right side of your neck. From here, we're going to rotate the nose towards your left armpit. And then look diagonally back. So nose rotates towards the ceiling. And again, nose towards left armpit. And look up. And one more time. Maybe your nose can get a little bit closer to your armpit. Maybe you can apply a little more pressure to the right side of your head. So your chin might, in fact, come in contact with your left pec. And again, look sort of behind you, depending on your range of motion. And let's bring that left ear back towards the left shoulder. Maybe the right fingertips can get a little bit closer to the floor. You're going to take your left hand over to the left side of your face and use your hand to bring your neck back to neutral. Float the right arm high, left arm high. Palms are going to press together overhead. Look up. Exhale, keep looking up. Bring your palms to rest on your knees or your thighs. See if you can puff up the chest a little bit more. Maybe you can heel toe your feet away from each other so that the thighs, your knees are roughly in line with your shoulders. And then start to pull the torso forward. Keep the chest lifted for as long as you can, looking up at the ceiling. And at some point, with your palms pressing into your thighs, you're going to let the head fall off the top of the spinal column. Tuck your chin into your chest. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. See if you can ground your sitting bones into the mat, into the seat a little bit more, and start to stack one vertebra on top of the next with the chin tucked towards your chest. When you make your way up to sit nice and tall, again, palms press into the thighs, or maybe take your fingertips over your kneecaps, pull your heart forward and up. And then as you exhale, keep the shoulder blades lifting the heart high as you now move your torso towards your thighs. And then at some point, you'll let your head get really heavy, chin into your chest, press your palms down into your thighs, round your spine, and slowly make your way up to sit again. We'll do this one more time. Shoulder blades lift the heart high. And when you're ready, pull your heart forward. And this time at the bottom, just let your fingertips slide or crawl along your shins. Fingertips might come in contact with the floor. Maybe you get your armpits to come over your knees a little bit or a lot, and just let the head get nice and heavy here. Deep breath in. Exhale, soften a little bit deeper. I'm going to say, can you ask you if you can heel toe your feet a little further away from each other, and now allow your torso to melt between your thighs a little bit more if that's for you. If you're happy here, stay here. If it's too much, come out of it. If you would like to add on to it, just interlace your fingers, bring the palms to the back of your head, and gently tug at the back of the head and see if your elbows can get closer to the mat or to the floor. Keep softening in your hips. And get a sense of your spine just dangling as much as you can from the tip of your tailbone. Maybe you can pull your chin a little bit more towards your chest here as we're now getting ready to come out of this. Fingertips down to the mat, palms down to your floor. Relax your head. And now slowly roll your way up to sit. Take your time. When you come up to sit nice and tall, let's add some shoulder rolls here. So lift the shoulders up by the ears, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other, hug the shoulder blades down the back, and move the tips of the shoulders forward. We'll just do that, let's say 4, maybe 6 times, depending on how fast You're rolling those shoulders. It's not an exact science, right? So whatever feels most appropriate to you, go for it. Next time your shoulders come up by your ears, I'll suggest that you roll the shoulders in the other direction. The next time your shoulders come up by the ears, stay there. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. Palms might find your knees. You might take your hands behind the head with the fingers interlaced. I'm just going to say, if you can stand up without um, rocking, but use the strength of your legs, press your big toes and the heels into the mat. The weight will shift forward some, and then stand up. And then with control, just have a seat again. Take your time. Sitting bones will find your chair again. And when you're ready, stand up again. And when you're ready, sit down again. One more time, stand up. And sit down. When you make your way to sit, I'm going to say, you can scooch back in your seat a little bit or a lot. I'll turn to the side here. And just extend your right leg in front of you. You can sit all the way back. Point the toes. Flex the foot. Point the toes. Flex the foot. One more time. Point the toes. Flex the foot. Just start to circle your ankles out. The right ankle out in one direction. Take your time. And you'll eventually circle that right ankle in the other direction. If you hear some cracking, it might be my ankle, and it's live. Welcome to 50. And you'll eventually step your right foot flat on the floor, and then just extend your left leg in front of you. Point your toes, flex your foot, point your toes, flex your foot, and start to circle that left ankle out a few times in one direction. And you'll eventually circle your ankle in the other direction. Your left foot flat on the mat or the floor. Scoot your sitting bones towards the front edge of your seat. And then maybe you grab your right ankle and bring it into place, right? Or maybe you with your own muscular strength, you bring that right ankle to rest on top of your left thigh, flex your right foot, let the right thigh spill out to the side, and take your right palm, press down. And while pressing down, press your knee thigh up into your hand. So we're creating resistance there. You want to feel never a sharp pain, but that right hip is maybe starting to cook a little bit. Great. We're going to release that action. And either interlace the fingers behind your right thigh and pull the thigh in close to you, or the thigh can be low and just lengthen the leg. If your range of motion allows it, you might even get fancy with it and take your right forearm behind your right thigh, pull the thigh towards your chest. Sitting up tall, and just see what happens as you lengthen behind the right knee and point the toes, flex the foot, and bend the knee. Again, fingertips can be interlaced behind the thigh and lengthen and point and flex and step the foot down. We'll do all of that on the second side. So maybe you grab your ankle, maybe you step it. You can maneuver that foot, the ankle into place without using your hands. Whenever you set it up, make sure you keep your left foot flexed and take your left hand, press it down into your left knee thigh, trying to get that hip to open up more. And then start to press your thigh back up into your hand. Keep the spine nice and long. And here we go. We have those options, right? Maybe the fingers interlace behind your left thigh and the leg stays lowish. If that's what's happening, that's your range of motion. Maybe the thigh isn't a little bit closer to you as you point and flex. Maybe you take your left forearm behind your thigh, you create a vice, pulling that thigh towards your chest. And we're going to straighten that left leg as much as you can. You're going to point your toes and then flex your foot and then bend the knee. Again, maybe the leg is not as high as mine. I've been doing yoga for 80 years. So, and again, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Point, point, point. Flex, flex, flex. And step your foot back down. And then go ahead, settle back into your seat. Bring the backs of your hands again to rest on your thighs. Taking a deep breath, breathing into what is. And as you exhale, let go of what was. Again, taking another deep breath, inhale. And again, exhale, shed, let go of something else. One more deep breath in, breathing into the now. Celebrating where you are, and as you exhale, let go of something else. You'll find your Anjali Mudra thumbs pressed into the heart space. Again, I encourage you to take your yoga with you. Allow it to arm you as you navigate your way through your moment-to-moment existence. Try to remain less reactive. Stay in your place of peace, always letting your light shine. Deep breath in for a round of Om. Inhale. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.
Thank you.